Oh yes,
Back
oh
again,
yes.
And this time around it's gonna be a lekker one. Look at us, four gentlemen, four brothers, ready to talk about athletics, Olympics, and all things exciting. We also
And
have,
new things.
Look at that. We've got the track and field event, which is also coming up. That's why we've got the big dog here joining us. But I'm gonna save the best for last as always. I'm gonna introduce the people you're used to, accustomed to seeing in the podcast over here. We've got to my left, Irvin Schmidt, aka Smitty. Smitty, what's good?
The same as this morning, Thames. I've seen you all day. But for the viewers now, everything's running pretty smoothly. I'm really enjoying it at the moment, with especially this week with the hype to our predictions and theories and let's call it perceptions all coming together this weekend. So yeah, it's a quite exciting week, quite
Big
exciting
week.
boat.
We just a few days away from track and field. Like we said, Olympics don't start until athletics starts. We don't care. That's what we're just keeping it real here. And to my furthest right, we've got Mr. Wesley Button. Wesley, what's good?
Everything's good, Tamba.
All right, now for the man who is sitting closest to my right. Oh yes, listen up. He is a world championships, not these small championship, world championships, 4x100 meter gold medalist. He's also World University Games bronze medalist, and also he is a 3-time SA champion, twice in the 100, once in the 200. And the man next to me, that is Mr. Matthew Quinn. Matthew, how you doing?
Do.
All good. All good, guys. Thanks so much.
When last did you have an introduction like that, Matt?
No, most mornings.
I didn't know that you got a bronze at the World Student Games.
I didn't know I got a 200-meter title. That's more
Nobody
impressive.
knew that.
But I mean, it's always it's always such an honor, Matthew, because people don't always understand your the person sitting next to us role in the sports. It's been many years back, but I mean, you were there in the forefront. You understand what's going on. You've won. Listen, guys, a world championship gold medalist. The same medal we're trying to fight to get at these Olympics.
We won it again.
He's done it. So looking forward to hear what your insights will be on that conversation. But yeah, welcome.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Matt, why are you not coaching the 4x1? You're the only medalist here. Who was with you in that 4x1?
Oh, yeah.
Mornay
Narvel.
Narvel. Corne Duplessis ran back straight. Leroy Newton was the bend,
That's
and then
right.
I ran home.
Come on.
And
The
you,
anchor.
yeah, you were running like 10:08 or 10:06.
10:08.
No, funny story. That World Champs, I never got my schedule, my race pattern right. So I didn't want to go. I was
dear.
running 10:3, 10:4, and I was like, I don't want to go. And they eventually said, Matt, just come. And my speed was there, the race was there, but I just could not get the race plan.
Okay.
It just wasn't happening. And, went and did the 100, and then, the 4x1, we ended up bringing the gold home.
Come on.
Before that, I was actually contemplating not going. So
I'm glad you went. That's all I can say. Glad you went. But I mean, yeah, we'll get into that relay talk, obviously, as we progress into this conversation. But also the bronze in the world students, we've seen how, a lot of our top 100-meter athletes actually, that's the one place where you guys usually, once you get a medal there, it's pretty much set up for the next level, which is that senior medal. Just talk a bit about that, and just a bit about your running and your sprinting journey. Just a little. Then we'll get into
that was we're going back in time, yeah. But you know what? It was always, I didn't go to fancy school. Went to Pinetown Boys High. We played rugby, did cricket. I think in my matric year I did every sport possible. But athletics was always that sport that I just absolutely loved. There was something about the individual nature of it. Rugby. We had a decent first team, and I either played scrum half or wing, and it was either fly half, kick, run, and I had to just chase. But it was always the attraction to athletics that I loved. That was the individual. I put the work, and I got the result, and that's I think what drove me through it. And that's I got offered bursaries or post matrics to rugby schools, and I turned them down, and focused on athletics thereafter. And, you know, I absolutely loved it. You know, training as hard as you can. The benefit is all for yourself. And then you just start going through the different phases, you know, juniors, seniors, you know, you get suddenly, you're overseas competing, and it just opens up so many doors for you.
Absolutely, man. That's why we love this sport so much.
Did you try other events in athletics?
When I got to the end of it, though, there was a theory, you know, when I wasn't getting my race plan together, the theory was to try long jump. No, it didn't work out. But hey, you know, the thought process was simple. Just run, jump.
You found yourself grounded pretty quick in that event.
Now.
Well, obviously at school, I mean, when you fast, you dominate everything. I mean, primary school, we did everything from 100 to 800, long jump, javelin. But I have an international shot put result.
Oh, wow.
Really?
100%. We were in
Shot put.
Let me tell you why. we were in Ireland before the 2000 Olympics, and Giannis needed people to compete. It was his last opportunity to throw, to qualify for the Olympics. And you need 3 people to compete. Minimum of
For
3.
it to count.
For it to count. So us sprinters, we put on our vests, shirts underneath, vests over, took the shot, and we threw. I don't know how far, don't ask.
Don't lie.
But I promise you, in
I want to
Ireland,
Google this.
we had to do it to get a result for Giannis.
And did he qualify?
I think he did. He ended up going to Sydney with us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man.
Oh,
So,
that's a good
Talking
story,
about putting the team on your back.
Yeah, Giannis, you owe him one.
we were more excited to do that event. And I think Anu Malherbe was in that. I'm just trying to think who else. All the guys just jumped in because we thought it was going to be fun.
That's a proper right there.
What's that?
Digging into that.
Yeah.
See if we can get some. Maybe we get no, but it's not a run. Otherwise, it would have been a finish line photo. Damn it.
We didn't have cell phones or anything to capture it. But
Different time, huh? But
I did shot put when I was at Interhouse.
What?
Once. I
Primary
literally
school or
threw
high
one
school?
time and the teacher said to me, sit down.
How small as everybody in your school is what I was going to ask.
Well, that's the problem. I was probably the smallest. I think we had to try everything. And after the shot put, the guy said to me, listen, you don't have to worry about doing any of the
never
other
mind.
events.
Yeah, leave
You
school.
can just run a bit. I was that useless. I couldn't get the javelin to peg into the ground.
I always
That's harder than it looks. It really
No, it
is.
And I'm worried about knocking the back of my
Hey.
head. But I always thought with Franz Kruger I could throw the discus. Just looked so easy. but
Easy.
it's
It looks
not.
like just motion, but geez, that thing. It's like what's it, David?
slingshot, huh?
Slingshot. It's like tick, 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 then it goes. Yeah.
It's all about timing.
You know, I did a couple of events, but definitely not shot put. Throw it around. However, I have a lot of respect for the shot put officials because when I was in the States, and this was indoors, all right, so if you're not competing, then you help out rolling the balls back. Then they have this warm-up session. You pick that weight up, you roll it back. Gee whiz, man, I never slept as well as I did after that night. Eventually, my arms were burning, picking that up. And then they've got a little, it's almost like a conveyor belt, but it's like a V. You got to pick it up, you roll it to someone else, they pick it up, put it in that, and that rolls back and then into the line. Like, what's it, 6 point something?
7.2 Ks.
Yeah, 7.2 Ks. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but believe me, do that a couple of thousand times a day. It's a whole different story. But yeah, that's my shot put adventure.
What's yours, Timber? You got to have
No shot put for me. That thing is way too heavy. I tried some high jump, sucked, long jump, sucked. Just run, man. Like this, keep it simple. It's easier that way.
Much easier.
But the game has changed. Huh? I mean, if you look at the time you were running the engine series, all these different, events in South African athletics to where the athletics is now. As a top sprinter, do you think there's a difference, or if things leveled out or leveled down?
I think obviously when we ran, we had a lot of competitions, you know, and we went through from sort of December, we had the engine summer series, so we went and ran 300s, 150s, 60s. So it was Cape Town hosted them, and it was always a good time. And then we sort of started our season in end of January, which was with 6 ABSA series races, which is again around the country. But the big thing for us was those 3 engine races in April. But if we look at it now, I think the value is not running so early. And maybe that's what this group of young athletes are now learning is we don't have to be running from January.
Wow.
You know, and I think Akani showed it as well this year. He didn't really do much
Yeah.
other than essays. Then he went to China,
Yeah.
ran was it 2 or 1? And then he went to World Relays. And then now it's kicking in.
Yeah.
Now he's looking fresh. He's looking ready for this Olympics, where by this stage he would have had 4 CGA leagues plus CGA
Yeah.
champs plus, and then suddenly you've got so much in your legs when you get to this time of the year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very true.
How do you like in the past? Okay, well, I know we're talking a little bit about the past, but the qualifying to qualify then and to go, you would have to run nationals in your your days. You have to run nationals. You have to get the medal there. That's right, and then you have to get the qualifying time. It's just
And then we had to qualify again in Europe.
in Europe, yeah.
So
it
we
is.
had to re-qualify.
Wendell was speaking about that as
Yes,
well.
yes,
yes,
There was a stage it was there. How do you manage? I mean, it almost seems like you got to have 3 peaks in a season. How do you manage that as a sprinter?
Look, I think the only person I think that really has got that right is Vanna. And I think we've seen it a lot, and he gets it in year out. It is tough. He's most probably the right guy to be sitting here telling you how he manages that. But it's really tough. So with these junior guys coming through and having to race such a lot, that's why they go to Europe and you know they get tired.
Yeah.
So I think for this year we've seen a change. Some great competition, some great athletes coming through, doing well in April and also now as they go into the Olympics. So the coaches are learning. Whether they're
Yeah.
talking to each other and they're learning from each other, there's definitely this change
Absolutely.
Yeah.
in how they adapt to the season.
But okay, let's we will round up the past, all right? And then-
Last question from the past.
Well, I'm curious. I'll tell you why, because and I've mentioned this a couple of times before. You guys, so you, Leroy Newton, Jock Freitag, Manline Kosi, Zanel was training with us. She was Zanel Grobelaar, Frans Creer, Mornay Nagel, Frankie Fredericks was still running in that stage. And that was in the engine time. I couldn't, like when my dad told me we're going to Pretoria to go and watch in the engine there when Michael Johnson ran, I couldn't wait. I truly believed I was a sprinter. I went to Germiston. Every opportunity that I had, that's what made me fall in love with it. And now I know you play a very big part in the event space with the stuff you're doing in broadcasting, and we'll chat about your event here in a sec. There we saw stadiums filled. All right, how competing with those guys within that type of setting, how does that? Well, like, what are you guys planning? How does that?
No, I think what we're lacking in South Africa is
how do we get back
is
to
that
kind of
Grand
that?
Prix series, that engine Grand Prix series that we ran. I mean, you think about it. I mean, we had Marion Jones, Michael Johnson,
Tim Montgomery.
Yo.
Well, Frankie.
I mean, Frankie was here.
he
He
was
was.
home.
I mean,
He
Frankie
loved it.
was just. Yeah, I mean, he used to love us, invites us to go train with him in Namibia all the time. He was just part and parcel of us. But we had these incredible athletes that everyone knew. Plus, we had this strong local Llewellyn Herbert, Jacques, History, Hader,
Yeah, that's right.
Marcus. I
Llewellyn,
mean,
I
you think
forgot
about the
about him.
400. We had these names: Marcus, Joopie, Arnu, Hendrik. You know, great athletes. So we had this incredible talent. Plus, we brought in international superstars. Then at that stage, I think it was Andy Norman was bringing in a whole lot of sort of middle range athletes that could compete. So it was a truly international circuit. We lack that. I mean, nothing's changed in South Africa. We're still a great venue for athletes to come and train at. The athletes are looking for competitions.
Yeah.
We've got to provide them. Funding, budgets, you know, those things aren't cheap.
I was gonna say, is there some cash money?
We look, athletics at the moment need sponsors.
Yeah, you need the
you know,
cash money.
yeah, we need bags, and that's what's holding us back. I mean, we've got a product. You know, Erwin spoke about me being in the broadcast space. We see, I look at the data from broadcast, and athletics is outperforming
Killing them.
most sports. But the problem is, brands, the big brands with cash, are already committed to other sports. And it's a long-term five-year process before they just can't go and find another 5-10 million out of a budget. Those days are gone.
So how far do
yeah.
you think we are in track and field then, if you talk about this five-year term? Like, I would think there's an idea of more or less when we really can go after. How long do you think we're away from
I think, look,
those budgets? Yeah.
yeah, look, you've got to just keep knocking on the doors. I mean, everyone loves the sport. Everyone understands the sport. Everyone's done it at some level.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when we launched Track and Field, which is a schools-based project, it was done with specific reasons in mind. You know, there was a plan and a strategy why we wanted to do it, but the next level we've got to look at would be most probably universities, because if you're thinking about a pipeline, you've got to go schools, universities, and then senior
Seniors.
athletics.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of, if we can get those last two universities and senior athletics at the same time, incredible. You know, it doesn't cost a lot to put on an athletics meeting. The cost comes in when you want a Shelley-Ann Fraser Prize to come and run,
Yeah.
because then that's $100,000 US.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
that's
competing against the Diamond League, some.
no, but not even that.
Grand
Shelley's
Prix.
showing that she's happy to come to Africa.
Yeah.
You know, she signed up for Botswana. She's run in Kenya before, so she's happy to come. The stars will come because it's a little earlier and they'll fit it in, and it's you know, they're also looking for a little bit of a paycheck, but it comes at a cost. And if you think 100,000, that's 2 million rand just there. I mean, we haven't even got 2 million rand for an entire athletics meeting.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I don't know what the prize money was for the Athletics Grand Prix this year, but not even South Africa's top South Africans were there. You know, like the turnout was pretty poor in terms of elite athletics. There were a few,
yeah,
but not enough. So before you can even bring the foreigners out, we've got to try and get the top South Africans to take part.
but I think if you build one model,
That's true.
it will all happen.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. You know, that's the I love that
Yeah,
phrase.
yeah.
But because if we get the right structure in place, the big names, local guys will want to run, because they do want to run in South Africa. They want to go to, you know, Pildage and see 25,000 people, you know, cheering for them. Exactly what we had. I mean, we went to Greenpoint and we'd have 10,000 people at Greenpoint. Then we came here and it was packed out. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's
I remember at Germiston, that whole grass bank around the
Packed.
around the track. I sat on that side, and then I ran for a better view on this side when they run the hundreds, and then I'll go back to that side to see the back straight of the 800s, and then I want to. That was me as a kid. Then I want to see Frans Krier in the discus. And I'll run to the other side to go and watch it. That was me in those days.
South Africa definitely has an athletics culture, and there's no one that can tell me any different. It's just really to put things on, it costs things. To
Yeah.
bring the best, it costs. Yeah, and the problem is you can't even go, okay, cool, if we go to most of our stadiums at the moment, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, if you're lucky. And you think about it. So if I'm bringing Shelley-Ann Fraser Price now, I need to have ticket prices at 300-400 rand a head. So now we're outpricing ourselves for a sport that's
People
used
to
to
come.
50 rand and 100 rand. So it's a balance that we've got to find. And that's kind of the hard graft there, that finding sponsors, finding people that understand the sport. The data's there. We're a great sport. We just got to deliver now.
Isn't it
I
weird?
just want to
though, that
welcome
we-
someone that's viewing. Keep that. You can see AK's coach, Vanna Prinsloo.
Oh.
Welcome. Hello there in Francais.
Oh, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va bien très, merci beaucoup.
Take
S'il
good
vous
care of
plaît.
our golden
Do you
boy.
think he's just mumbling, or do you think he has to know to
No idea. No one else knows what he's saying.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Cappuccino. Croissant.
French Wallonie, no, not even.
We're getting back with you were about to say.
I was going to say, isn't it weird that when you were competing, there were sponsors? What do you think the difference is now? Why can't they find any sponsors?
You know, I just think times change. You know, when athletics was at that height, we had Engine, ABSA. I can't
Yellow
remember.
Pages.
Yellow Pages
It
came
came
after
after,
ABSA.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
and
that's
that,
right.
and that kind of was the end of that sort of 6 Grand Prix where we used them as warm-up. So that was
Yeah.
almost like our league meetings. You know,
Yeah,
those
exactly.
ABSA races were like our league
You
meetings.
fight for your life.
Now, do you know what? Where's rugby, cricket, football took the advantage?
Yeah.
You know, they offered a product that athletics wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, and there was, back in the day, there were issues with athletics, and we've had to turn it out and we've had to come through it. And I think we've seen a change. We've seen definitely within boardrooms, we're not in the press for the wrong reasons. You know, we're doing good things. It's just really now timing, knocking on doors, talking to people until that brand sees us and goes, hang on, there's an opportunity here.
Okay. A bit of patience, maybe. Just keep going.
Oh, it's not really good from my side. I hate patience.
But I mean, it's about doing the right things. And, you know, you mentioned about those crowds. And I think that's why we love school athletics so much. There's just a pureness and just a rawness about school athletics where the parents, omas, tannies, everybody comes together. They make sure they'll pack out as much as they can in the crowds and, you know, really create that vibe, which the senior athletes don't usually even get to taste. I mean, you go to a league on a Saturday, you know, you've got some of the best sprinters in the Akanis running a league at CGA, and if you've got 500 people there, you're lucky.
Yeah, but we don't tell people. We don't tell the story. You know, we're our worst storytellers. You know, schools athletics, the whole community knows. Remember, it's communities that
Rivalries.
so you got 10 schools going to run at Pilgridge this weekend. Those communities all come out. Now, when our top athletes go out, we're not telling the story. We just go, hang on, we will
Expect them to
we'll,
just
we'll
rock up.
expect them.
Yeah.
You know, and this, it's not just in athletics. It's I feel in sport these days, rights holders don't do enough to tell people what's happening.
You're right.
I mean, some of the biggest races in this country don't market themselves. They don't tell people that they're running. They're not,
I get what you're
sorry,
saying.
I don't want to mention names in that,
But
but you know,
there's strategy behind it isn't push, or there is no strategy. It's happening, and whoever comes comes.
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
good enough.
when you're filling up a race with 20,000 people, that you're happy, you're worried about those 20,000 people, and you want to make it as special for those runners. But at the end of the day, your product is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's what you're putting out to the public, the people that view that product. You know, putting up a billboard in Oro Tambo in your races in Cape Town or Durban or PE tells people what's happening. You know, if half your runners are coming from Gauteng, that means half your audience is coming from Gauteng. So let's do something around. But rights owners aren't doing that.
Yeah.
And I think athletics in general needs to look at it and go, how do we change this? How do we lift this up? That it's just not by accident people are watching. We've got to keep driving and lifting and working together.
Yes, I've thought of a strategy, and this is going to sound like madness, all right? Just because if you saw when Bolt visited with the Puma School of Speed, they had him, or he came to the event, and there was just thousands and thousands of people. It was buzzing.
It was.
And
It
then
wasn't
he
even
left.
running.
Then he left shortly after, and then poof,
Yeah.
everyone was gone. So I truly believe if we can get those guys here, we're going to get packed stadiums. So now back to my theory, and I'm saying this is probably madness.
If it's good, don't say it online, man. We can do, we
Because
can do
now
it.
it's open air.
We can still do it.
It's difficult to work with a bunch of different people, all right? We don't have a major budget, all right? We probably could travel the guys out here, but if we can get the agents like Leroy and Piet with their international athletes that they have, and they've got athletes here, and they could do some kind of trade exchange with other events in the States or wherever it is. You bring your guy, then I'll send my guy and try and work it into the planning. Without it then costing, all right, the events can benefit from it here. Okay, yes, they will benefit financially, hopefully too, with the winnings.
Oh, yes.
But if you can have like 4 or 5 of those trade exchanges or values in kind, if I can put it that way, where it's like, okay, my athlete will go run in the Miramar Mile, all right, the Miramar, or maybe it's some smaller events and wants to pick it up, and you get that exchange into the Grand Prix. Maybe that's a way to, encourage.
Let me know how those discussions go with the agents.
Yeah, obviously they're going to look at the money aspect, but it's
No, look, I think you've got to look at different ways. What's it, Gabby Thomas and her, Athos? They're looking at a different model where the athletes share off the profit. So
yes,
so they're going to pay the athletes prize money. As far as I understand, there's no appearance, but the cost of the meeting will be here. Whatever's left over through broadcast sponsorship, the athletes get a share of it.
Oh, wow.
So the more you commit to it, the more you tell people, the more it drives the product up, as Gabby, as Faith, or whoever the athletes are that are running it. If they sell it and they want to be the best there, people are going to watch. People are going to pay more to watch. Sponsors are going to get on board. Once that happens, then that share becomes bigger. So your costs are always going to stay the same. So what it costs to put a track and field meet on, and then whatever happens outside of that, the athletes are sharing in the profit.
That's actually
So it's an interesting model. I mean,
But there's got to be money first to have any
no, it's
profit.
nice when you've got Serena Williams' husband, the founder of Reddit, funding this thing. But
No,
you know.
again, that's a different. But that's a different story. Then again, there's so many different ways to skin a cat. I think it's time to think out of the box.
Yeah, that's what we need.
With this profit sharing model that I've heard something similar, actually from one of the agents, won't say who, in South Africa, that thought maybe that would be a good idea, or where the event is then owned by a bunch of, let's say, 10 or 20 athletes, and they drive it via their social media, etc. So that is definitely it's something to look at. Matt, so hey, if you guys can put me on, just to the production team, put me on a wide here, please, Fukama. Thank you. This logo here in the back, how...
I like the logo, by the way.
yeah, me too.
Hello, I'm owning track and field.
You see
I
the
took
whole
the name and I'm
whoa,
like,
whoa, whoa,
we've
whoa.
got it.
Yeah, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about the TNF here behind us, and we've attended the launch of it,
Yeah.
and Tim's did plan a whole role into it, but I said, let's rather hear it from Matt's words. So, Matt,
Yeah, track and field. We were looking for a project, and we looked at all of it. We looked at senior athletics. We looked at university, but the one that kept jumping out, kept being the front of page, was always schools athletics. So how do we make schools athletics even bigger and better? So track and field really is a brainchild of a couple of people within, so myself, guys at Supersport, looking and saying, how do we, and South African Schools Athletics and ASA, and saying, how do we build this into something really special? What's different? What do we need in the sport to grow athletics? From the foundation, how do we grow it? So the idea here is a national competition, 9 regional champs will crown, so you'll have the best school in the Western Cape, the best school in the Eastern Cape, bragging rights now. So so that's the first thing. Then we'll bring every single winner, all the best schools there around them, 60 of the best schools in the country, and we'll have a national final. One school walks away with bragging rights of being the best school in the country. It's going to be nothing we've seen before in South Africa. We're going to elevate it like we haven't seen in a long time in athletics. We want these kids to get an experience of what athletics is about, what's the opportunity behind it, and that's kind of just in a nutshell what we're doing. The way the athletics meetings are going to be set up are going to be amazing. But then that's just for regional. Then when you come to the final, it's going to be a show. That's
a
when
3-day. You said a 3-day.
Yeah, we're going to do a 3-day final.
Heat semis-finals.
Yeah, and so again, it's we've looked at what they've done in the US. We're looking at globally what's happening, and if we can get this right, and again, there's a lot of good people involved in this. We get this right, athletics grows. And Western Cape and Gauteng, we know we've got a lot of great schools, great competition. But it's the KZNs, the Limpopo's, the Northwests, Eastern Cape, Bloem. We're going to Kimberley, guys. We're going to get the best schools in the Northern Cape together to compete to win. And that's what this is about, growing the sport. And what the vision and the goal behind it is obviously to find the number one school in the country. Then it's to build the sport. There's no point just staying in Gauteng in the Western Cape and only focusing where athletics is perceived to be strong. And a lot of comments that we've seen off the back of this is, we hope you're going all around the country. And it's great, because that's what we want people to see. And then the third thing, really, one of the key focuses for us is, how do we build the sport from a school level? So what rugby did 10, 15 years ago is, I want schools to be able to go to any corporate brand, bring in funding for the athletics team. We're giving them an opportunity. There's athletics constantly on Supersport. Now we're giving them the vehicle to say, right, go find it. Give us more bursaries. Give our kids the opportunity to compete. And if we can do that, those kids then leave school not going, I did athletics, but I'm a rugby player. They leave being athletes.
Yes.
And that's one of the big goals we want to achieve out of this.
So with you saying schools can go to corporates and then get these sponsors, where would a sponsor then get his value back?
Vests?
Well, that's why I'm going to tell you. Good luck with that conversation with ASA.
No. You see, they're my partners. You got to understand. So we working together. So with
it's
SA
good.
schools and ASA, we working together on this project. Yeah, there's a few things that we have to tweak, but the project is a long-term strategy. It's not this year everyone's going to be wearing branded clothing.
Yeah.
But the opportunity is there. We're going to build it in the right direction.
It's about raising the profile, right?
100%. And if these kids, one step back. So when I worked for a different agency, I helped the Sharks out with some of their stuff. And a lot of their focus was bringing kids from around the country to the Sharks Academy. Then they were placed into schools within the area. We need to be doing the same thing for athletics. There's a lot of talent in this country. But that talent is just not getting the right thing. So yes, there's steps, Erwin. We're gonna go
so
through.
100%, I agree with that model, and I said so in 2012. All right, when we got Tom on with our club, and then we got absolutely slammed to a point where we had to say, okay, listen, we can't take that sponsorship the next year. Then we put our own club's name on it, Backtrack, and then we got slammed for that as well.
That's because it was this big. The kid's vest was here, and you were like, this.
No. Hold up. At first it was Backtrack within it, and then we went to B. We're like, okay, now we're gonna go with if this is we're gonna go with B. And what is B? B is brilliant. B is beautiful. B is being brave. B is being the best.
One of the
and
things
we got slammed for that too. Now you want to tell me I need a partnership in my club with ASA to put a sponsor's name on it?
One of the things we're looking at, okay, really, is teaching these guys, the schools, how to commercialize themselves. It might not be year one big branding on their vest. It could be warm-up shirts. It could be, utilizing the facilities at their school. But we've got to teach these guys how to do it. And that's one of the things we're going to look at is how do we educate, do almost a masterclass on business commercialization. That's one of the driving points. As much as we've got to train technical officials and we've got to do coaching courses, we've also got to do that. We've got to teach schools there's an opportunity here.
Absolutely.
And what rugby's done and dominated, we've got to do the same.
What I like about the concept, going into all 9 regions, provinces, that in itself is groundbreaking, because we've seen, as you said, there's too many guys in Kimberley that don't get discovered, or there's guys in, I'll say, Henda to my people, they don't get discovered because all these competitions, Western Cape, we see it, even in the maybe the similar type of competitions where a school gets crowned, don't really go into all these schools and touch all these schools. And it's not an easy feat, obviously. What's the reasoning behind that? Obviously, finding more. But
the easy bit was launching. Now the hard work starts. No, but you know what? And we've got to go back, and I think there's some incredible athletics meetings on at the moment, and they're doing a great job getting schools competing, getting CS, driving the sport. And this is just another level, and that's what we've got to look at. We're not here to take over or challenge anyone. It's really about working together as a community and building the sport. And I think that's the key message. I think one thing we really want to do is get to every corner of the country, at least to give opportunity. And this is year one. In 3, 4, 5, I want to have a second division. So yes, because we're always going to get that where there are going to be schools that really dominate in the second,
like a D1, D2.
100%. It's I didn't make this stuff up, guys. It's out there.
It exists.
But we've got to start somewhere, and this is where we're starting. We're going to launch this.
Control C, Control V.
We're going to launch it, and we're just going to raise the profile. And if we can do that at schools level, those kids then go to university, and universities then have to build something for those kids. Then we get this talent pool coming through, and instead of having an Akani and then we waiting. Oh, now we've got a Benji.
Yeah.
We get this talent pool coming through the whole time, and that's the goal.
Is this series across the age groups for high school, or is it just kind of Under, what is it?
Under
18?
15, 17, 19. So we're working on the schools,
Okay.
schools age groups, because they are the partners, and we're working on the 9 provinces instead of the 17 of ASA. So again, there are gonna be times where schools are gonna have to travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what we've done is, if you make the final and you're from the coast, we're gonna fly you up to
Wow.
Joburg, to Gauteng.
Yeah.
That cost is ours, because again, in previous competitions, kids from the Cape make the team for the final, but then mom and dad can't pay for them to come, so they sit at home.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want that talent to come and compete. So again, those are things we place. We put in a lot of effort into getting every kid to be able to compete. It's not ideal if you think about the Eastern Cape. You could have a sort of East London championships. You could have a PE championships.
Yeah.
Western Cape would be similar. You could have almost have an Oudtshoorn, a Cape Town, Stellenbosch. We're starting, so we'll have one in each region, and let's see where we go.
I think it's definitely a good start, and we want to unearth these, and the concept itself is it's bold. It's
big from the
but
start.
Yeah, it's not playing around or trying to pur.
And it's if you have a look at the Kiro podium as well, that's also a very good thing. It was the Super School series when Stillwater still did it. So if you have a look at that, that's focused on the top 15 or top 30 of each school. So this is completely different. This is more
National.
Truth be told, it's an ASA model, meaning it's got the age groups that you participate at nationals in it. So that sits well, I believe.
It's a good idea, because this year I've watched a lot more schools athletics than I ever have.
You commentated on them.
Yeah.
Why is that, Wesley? Why is that?
From being the silent typer to, let's call it the mouthy sniper.
Something like that.
Mouthy snipe.
But I was fascinated by the vibe, because I'm used to elite athletics in South Africa, where there's kind of 12 people in the stadium, if you're lucky, and it's so quiet and everything's so chilled, and everybody just goes along and does their thing. Those schools athletics is awesome.
Yeah.
The whole atmosphere is incredible. The amount of people who go out to watch at the inter-high meeting in Pretoria, I couldn't believe parents were coming the night before to set their stuff up. I've never
correct.
seen anything like that.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I think
Reserved
I think you're going into a good
reserved on all the seats.
Yeah.
They'll even leave their blankets on the seats. This is my seat with some belongings and stuff.
That's it.
A night ahead of time. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
What
It's
it-
awesome.
What do you think of the classic shootout in the? I know what Matt thinks. We're going to give him an opportunity to comment on that now. But okay, he wants to.
I've taken the 5th.
That's too,
right.
yeah, that's too American. That's too American. Doesn't fit 100% in our laws.
Not in our
But
model.
Wes, for me, what do you think? Classic show bringing the elites into the school frame.
So my perspective as a journalist is that's the only way you're going to get me there. I'm not going to come to a high school meeting to cover it for a national newspaper. But if you've got
Can
a
I answer
Kanye,
that?
Sabine, a few other people, no, you can't. If you have a few top athletes there, and in fact at the classic shootout this year, I was up in the commentary booth, but looking down, there were some mainstream journalists there, and I don't think you would have got that coverage if it wasn't for those few races.
Matt, your turn.
Okay, well, let's start with Wes first. What's happening with newspapers at the moment?
I plead the 5th.
Now, look,
Welcome to commentary, Wes.
this is live. I like it. Now, look, I was there. I love it. I loved watching Akani. I loved watching Tebogo run. It's V-Way. It's incredible to see it because that's the passion point. Our project is focused on kids.
Schools,
It's focused on the schools, and I want to make them the heroes.
Yeah.
I want to get that level of where mainstream journalists suddenly start looking and going, hang on, I've got 5.2 million viewers of schools athletics in this country. There's a community there we can write for, we can put stuff out to. That's what we've got to get to. And I think that if we can get it right and those people carry on, then senior athletics just absolutely flies. But you know what? It's our model really is around creating heroes from the school, putting them, we've got so many cool things, and we'll launch them all throughout in the next 6 months of what we want to do and how we're going to cover it. Those kids need to finish and go through a media wall. If it's not mainstream media, cool, I don't mind it. But we're going to create
But
that
geez,
media.
I would love
We're
for you
gonna
guys to
find those
create
content
that little tunnel,
Mm.
like we've seen in Mauritius as well at the African Champs. That little tunnel where they all just come down and you can get the attention of who you. It makes it so much easier to get these stories than not being able to move and that kid is off. He's gone. You can get
News
so
is
much.
changing. News is changing in how we consume it and how we deliver it, to who we deliver it to. A 15-year-old is going to read a different news, going to do a different thing to me as a 47-year-old male.
Yep.
Those are things that we've got to look at. And
his
if
age.
my 47. Look. If I'm gonna work with trying to build the sport, I've got to communicate to that audience. If mainstream media don't want to be there, that's fine. We're okay. But there are gonna be content creators that we're gonna bring there that are gonna find an interest in speaking to, Matt Quinn, who just won the under 1500 meters in a record time. We're gonna create that. We're going to create opportunities for those guys, because not everyone wants to be an athlete or a rugby player or cricket. There are within schools content creators, So we're going to create that industry within what
The new age journalist.
Yeah, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, but you don't need mainstream media.
Again.
You just
Again.
let's move on. As long as kids are there with cell phones, you'll get coverage.
But that's the
That's
thing.
how
I
the
mean,
world works now.
they were talking about this Olympics being the most viewed on social, because every single person, every athlete is doing a little kit dance and showing you what the kit's about. Then they're showing you the village. Then they're showing you the eating hall. Then there's so much content, and people are absolutely absorbing it and consuming it. And and then you've got the athletes who are media broadcasters of their own. Every time Akani or Noah Lyles or Shirley Ann Fraser-Price does something, millions of people see it. They're gone are the days of writing a press release that goes out and, here we go. The guys just get on, quick little video, and there it's done.
I like what you said about making heroes of the school kids. Making heroes has always been, I think, one of our biggest motives.
Yeah, in the backtrack space.
Yeah, and Backtrack, it has always driven us. We said we were going to make heroes out of athletes. Remember?
When we started, that was one of the mottos that we had. We wanted to get a slogan, and the whole time it was a hero something. So you go through this whole Marvel universe of possible heroes of how to do it, and then it came down by athletes for athletes, just with the main focus being like let's give as much as we can in terms of exposure in a world where only focus on certain events in print media. Well, SABC, one of the I can't even call it a first coverage, but let's just say how this happened. So Thames and myself, we're out with the camera. We're just going to shoot it. We've asked. They said, okay, there's no problem. SABC is not going to be there. This was in, I think it's 2014. And Adrian was also a part of it. So we got chased. Yeah.
That was at SA Champs, right?
Yes,
That's
right.
when Simon Mokhakwe ran out of 10.
10.
You were the only guys who had the coverage.
The coverage.
I remember that.
We were chased from port to port to port to port. And then we're like, where are we allowed to film? Are you not allowed to film? And this guy said, okay, no, you can do it here. Okay, but I'm taking this film for the athletes, all right? We didn't even want to sell it, but the idea was if someone wants it, there's a DVD. They've got their races.
DVD?
Yeah, there's a DVD. Yeah. What? It's back. Way
Did
back.
you burn them?
Anyway, and so Thames and myself with Andre Willifeer was running, and we did this little content build up, like the versus Reinhard van Rensburg versus Andre Willifeer, and Reinhard's family was quite upset because we wouldn't back him, and I think it was his brother had a personal go at me. I can't remember who it was on social media, because he figured out now who's the guy that's typing this stuff. And back to it, so we end up there close to the VIP section. and
Which track was that again?
this was
Tux.
Tux,
Yeah,
right?
we
But
were
right in the corner, and we're busy filming the 800, and like I'm sitting with the commentary mic. It's a one camera thing, and passing to Temba, and passing back to me, and then passing back to Temba, and eventually I can't remember who this guy was. From ASA said, this was the Oscar Pistorius time as well. It's like, I'm tougher than the Oscar Pistorius, Kariru, whatever, lawyer. I'm a bulldog. Get out of here. All right, so we're like, okay. Said, sorry guys, I think we need to pull this one. And then Adrian's like, no, I found us a spot. And then you'll stand right next to him, and they'll never see the camera.
Who's gonna know?
and true as heck, that was just before the Simon race. True as heck, boop, he ran that sub 10 seconds, and here we are, the only camera with that content. Matt, I promise you, you've never seen a mood swing in your life till that same exact person comes walking to you saying, oh, listen, where's the content? We need to get the interviews. Like, I'm going to arrange for you now. We get media passes. All of a sudden, bring your stuff. Get access to the access. I'm not lying to you. I promise you that happened. And yes, all of it. We get chaperoned, and now we can film the rest of the athletic. We got that. And then when the event's done, it's like, please can we have the content? That's a property of ASA. Crazy.
That's why I'm
Like,
glad
hell no.
Supersport has the rights now, because, you know, even though SABC can broadcast to a lot more people, they had the rights and they just weren't using them. And that national championship, I think, was a good example of a broadcaster who just couldn't afford to be there. And then it was a dark national championship. There's just no coverage. So thank God that you guys were there. Otherwise, there would be no footage.
And
of
they would have
someone
been
like
lost.
Lachlan.
The first
Imagine,
something. I phoned Manfred.
Wes would have written about it though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I phoned Manfred Sedler, and he was with SABC at the time. I was like, and because he was saying, like, listen, if you get some interviews and stuff, please send it my way. He was working, I think, on swimming that weekend for them. And I was like, listen, this just happened. What do I do with this content? I don't want to. He's like, it's newsworthy, let it ride. That was his word, it's newsworthy. Boom. Yeah, and then we just pushed it out on. We didn't right away on YouTube. So yes, the news stations for ENCAA, even foreign news stations as well, phoned us, and then I got a call from a guy at Supersport. So talk about a full circle, yeah. Call a guy at Supersport saying, like, listen, there's no budget to buy the content, all right, but we'll put it on Blitz and we'll make sure everybody sees it.
Yep.
And then I asked the guys involved, and they were like, okay, no, this is where we go. So that night we drove there with the hard, and they had to check it. Only that content's allowed to be on the hard drive. They checking it. He gave us a full tour of the studios. He really made it nice. We saw Nick Mallet and some of, because it was rugby as well, coming back from that studio. We sat there, saw the whole process of them getting it on air, and is like, okay, this would be live at tomorrow morning at 8, might be tonight. Yes, and then from 5 a.m. that morning, we're waiting for the content, and it aired for the entire week. Yeah, and eventually we just decided, you know what, let's share that. Yeah, so that's a cool little story. And then here's another circle for you. So that's where we started, and then our first national broadcast live stream, again Tuck Stadium, again the ASA seniors. Exactly, that was in 2021. Yeah. So how's that for
That's how
something?
Backtrack was born.
That's how. But getting back to your thing, storytellers,
That's how I met your mother.
storytellers, content creators.
I mean,
it's in the exact same fashion.
Yeah.
People that just wants to make stuff
That's
cool
it.
and create the
We're
heroes.
not only focusing on the athletes, we're looking at we want to make that athletics team at school the heroes. How do
Yeah.
we do that? We've got to get them to be as excited, the whole school excited, as when a rugby game's on, or netball game's happening. We've got to get the school invested into them. So we're going to get the kids outside of them or even within the team that are content creators to do, and we've got some really cool stuff lined up. Well, I think it's cool. We'll see how it plans out. In paper, it looks really good.
But before he left for the Olympics, Bayanda Walaza's school had a thing in the morning at, what do you call it?
Kira.
It's been so long since I went to
It's
school.
the assembly.
In the hall.
Assembly.
Yeah, you know.
In the hall. And there was some awesome content that came out of that, just from the kids.
Yeah.
Just being shared on social media. But the guy has to qualify for the Olympics to be able to like get the exposure. So yeah, let's hope your series works and it does make more heroes, because there's a lot of awesome talent. I know it's something we say all the time, but if you do go and watch high school athletics, there are incredible athletes that maybe haven't qualified for these Olympics.
And they're
but
dominating at our
almost there.
nationals.
No, but I mean-
Dominating, getting medals at SA Seniors.
Yeah, but not even that, guys. Look at the juniors, the squad that's going to, where's it, Lima?
Peru.
Yeah. I mean,
For the World Junior
for the World Juniors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the test here. You know, we've got this, again, talent. We keep saying it, but we keep winning medals. We keep delivering it at that under 20 youth or junior championships, and that's coming out of school. You know, maybe first year out of school, but it's the school system that's producing that. And that we dominate. We win medals there.
Yeah, no, that's so true, and I think the school system will never be irreplaceable. And I think it continues, but it's just that link where when they leave school,
I
you
mean,
need to somehow.
this has been a good transition because you got Benji. He was what did he
Yeah.
get? Silver, bronze at World Juniors.
Yeah,
Then you got Lath, who won 400.
yeah, for the-
Minay,
yeah,
she won the discus and the shot put.
yeah,
And Brian Rots.
yeah.
When what did he get? Silver.
Silver, yeah.
Silver. So you got 4 guys at World Juniors last year that have now made the Olympic team.
That's true.
Yeah.
We need to keep doing it. And that, guys, it's not by fluke. It's the school system that we've got in South Africa that's developing these kids that are now showing that these kids now want to lift up.
There's more. Like, we forgot Matt Nortier. He was also
Yeah,
silver,
true.
silver bronze medalist at
Is Meneer de Klerk going?
Yeah, she's in.
Mays.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
But she's studying in the States at the moment.
Yeah, at what is it? The Oregon. What are
They
the
all,
Ducks?
I think they all, January, the 1st of January this year, they were all 20.
Sheesh, that's crazy.
I mean, they will turn 21 this year, but that's still young.
Remember what I said when we spoke a little bit about Jock Freitag? I said how quick he converted that onto the international stage. What you just proven to us with what you've brought a light is these kids are jumping from the juniors quick onto the international stage. We need to get more of them through. Is that correct in saying?
Well, I think so. I mean, and you've seen it every day that you're never too young to go and compete. If you can run, you can run. You can jump, you can jump. You know, it's just maintaining it. And you know, what's the American kid now that's just come out that keeps running 44s? He's 60.
Quincy
Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
What a name to
just
watch.
shows you the talent.
Yeah.
And we've got that in South Africa. We can see it in our own athletes. So it's just that's what's going to travel through and start representing at World Champs, at Commonwealths, at Olympics. And those are the guys that in 4 years' time at LA 28 and then in 32 that are going to start delivering medals.
Yeah, I think we're in a good. We mentioned it last week as well. If you look at the age of athletes at the Olympics this year, we've got the next 4 to 8 years for South Africa, looking very, very
Okay,
promising.
I'm going to go back one step and say not deliver medals. Let's not put pressure, but make finals. Because track and field is not, you cannot predict a medal.
Yeah,
You know, we'll do it later. We'll have
I
some
would.
fun of it.
Gold in the
we're
100
waiting
meters.
for yours. We're waiting for your prediction.
We'll have some fun with it later. But I think making finals at that level, you got to, I mean, what are we? How many people in this country?
60 million plus.
300 of 60 million got selected to represent South Africa.
crazy.
Of that, of 10,000 athletes in the globe,
Yeah,
they're representing us.
yeah.
They are the best of the best. And you know what? If guys go there and they don't have the best day, they worked hard to get there. We need to
Yeah.
support them and celebrate them. They make finals. Guys, they're the top 8 in the world. Top 8 sprinters, jumpers, hurdlers, whatever it is. That is where they sit within the world phase.
Yeah, and if you put in that context, it's like, no, there's no loser at the Olympics.
No, there isn't.
None.
By all of them making this team, they have shown that they are one of the best in the world.
And I think we were saying last week, the qualifying criteria has become so tough
Yeah.
that honestly, I know that you can qualify by ranking now and whatnot, but that's not far off. To get the qualifying standard in any track and field event to go to the Olympic Games is incredibly tough.
Yeah, and
Incredibly tough.
And some of them would have medaled in the past.
Yes,
If you look at
absolutely.
the early 2000s.
Now, if you can get that direct qualifying time or distance or whatever, you're almost in the final. That's kind of
I mean,
the
look
level.
at the 100. The 100 is, you got to run 999.
Pretty much.
I mean, when I ran my 10:08 around 1999, I got a certificate from World
6th
Athletics.
of April, I'm guessing.
I have no idea, I can't remember. But I got a certificate from World Athletics telling me I was in the top 20 in the world. 10:08 doesn't even qualify you to go to the Olympics now.
yeah.
I mean, that's just how we've improved and we've just grown and we've just, whether it's super spikes or tracks that are getting faster, it's just how the sport is elevated.
Sheesh. So the tracks and
Crazy.
the shoes you spoke about that. So you'd be a 9
I'd be running 9.5.
You see, the technology was just late. So
Oh.
it would have been.
No, but I was reading about this track. This track is super fast because they haven't made it thick.
I'm
They
telling
made
you.
it thin,
They said
and
this thing
they're going to
is
say
quick.
this is going to be fast.
So let's see. Maybe some world records. What world record could possibly fall in the sprints? We know the 100.
I think the
we know
200.
200
is
The 200.
knocking on the
200.
200. Huh?
200 door.
Will
You
it
think
fall?
so? No allows.
Both women
Really?
and men. I mean, think about Sharika last year. Sharika was getting so close to that world record last year. Noah has it in him. He is, what, Noah is. Everyone's got mixed opinions about
No,
Noah,
it's
but
X Factor, man.
I love the fact that Adado talks. He tells you he's going to win and
he
then
does
wins. It's a special trait. Not a. You look at what other
I
athlete.
like
does
it more in fighting, like if Conor McGregor says it or you get that type of eyes, I'm going to do that. But I don't like it that much in athletics. Then I kind of turn on the guy.
No, but that's because we're South African. We're not used to that. We like to be very, very reserved, and we're not allowed to say. We've got to be polite.
And our
But
sprinters are, hey? They're
They
reluctant
are
by it.
so nice.
They really are.
I still disagree. You go for a brandy here in South Africa. The fight's
Okay,
on.
wrong target market. But
It's not in South
again,
Africa.
he's still on the MMA side of things. but Noah, one thing that Noah does is he talks himself up, and then he gets on the track, and whether he's outpsyched people or not, he delivers.
He does.
And that's something special. You don't get that a lot. Everyone, not a lot of the other Americans. I mean, take Ry Benjamin for argument's
He's
sake.
quiet.
Quiet. World class. Quiet. He could win the gold.
Yeah.
But he's going to be quiet about it. Noah's the only like that going, I'm going to win this. I'm going to break a record. I'm going to, woo-hoo. And then he gets there and
There's still a sense of humility that needs to fit into that too.
no,
Like you run against Arian Knighton as a kid that's 17 years old. Even if you run him down at the end and win, all right, or whatever the talk is, you still got a responsibility or to ensure that you're not psychologically trying to hurt the guy with a, hey, hey, Dempsey, do you see me? The old guy is taking you and yeah.
listen, you
Also
need
like
showmen.
the-
Guys, we need showmen. I mean, the reason we love this sport is one, it's competition.
Yeah.
Okay, you want people to go up. But, I mean, how interested did we get in the men's 1500 this year when Josh Kerr and old Ingebrigtsen started having a few words? Now it was, hang on, who's going to win this race? Then they were, where is it? Prefontaine, Oregon? They clashed. They had the race.
In the mile, yeah.
And Kerr won it. He walked off and he was, I mean, the press conference was the funniest thing I've seen. Two guys who have been going at each other in the media, being so sweet to each other. It didn't work.
Yeah, but don't you think that is just building a hype, like just to
No,
get people to
100%.
watch?
But the thing that, and I'll go back, Noah does is he talks and then backs it up. He's not
Yeah.
scared. And in a press conference, shame, I felt sorry for Zonal Hughes. He it's all right, Zonal, yeah. No, hang on, what did he say? He's like, what's the British record? Are you going to get, no, we'll get you there, just follow me.
Yes.
I mean,
It's a bit cheeky.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's,
cheeky, that's-
but that's Noah.
That's funny though.
No, but that is Noah. It's like, I'm going to win. Just stick close to me, and I know I'm going to run fast. You'll get the British record. I mean, but like him or not, I mean, then you get Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, just on the other end of the spectrum.
quite-
Shaqiri, Richardson. They're so different. They're characters.
But do you know,
we need these guys.
we do need them. I like what you're saying. I don't have a problem with Noah. But
The
I think
Euro, the outlaw.
the reason why people love bowls so much, coming from the Caribbean, they've got a different type of
Yeah.
not even a
You know
different
what
type
I'm
of
saying? You know what I'm saying?
it's so relaxed, and the whole world, even Americans,
Love
love
that.
boat. They don't like Noah as much
No.
because here's LeBron James and them going to win the Olympics, and he said,
Was
they're
he
not the world
was he
champions.
wrong? Was he wrong?
But they win the Olympics. LeBron and them will bring it back. What is he gonna say then?
Yeah, but well done. You won the Olympics. Now you can actually say you've won the Olympics.
How many Olympics has what's his name, Kobe Bryant won? They've won
No.
Olympics the whole time. So it's
I've got a good stat. And you get the answer is Kobe. But who's the only guy to win an Olympic gold medal and an Oscar? Is it an Oscar?
An Oscar?
Yeah, it's Kobe Bryant.
Really?
Oscar for what?
For
Oscar
his
is quite
story.
kind of wild.
Oh.
Oh,
For,
yeah, the story, The Last Dance. No,
No, not the last. No,
Dance.
no. There was one that and he got an Oscar for it for.
That's right. It was his documentary.
There's a documentary that he did and he got an. Yeah, I'm sure it's an Oscar. But anyway, that's sidetrack.
Yeah, about his standards. Yes, I'm going
Back
to see
to
this now.
characters. We need characters. You know, you talk about it in South Africa. If a Carney's running, Wade's running, people will come out and watch. There we go. Will come out and watch. But we need a few more. The anticipation between Benji
Yeah,
and
basketball.
Wade at the essays drew a little bit of a crowd because now Wade had someone to compete against. You understand? So we need those competition. We need a little bit of talk. You know, it's great to
Tando
and respect is good. You know, it's
Simon Machakwe.
What?
2017 was mad.
What year was it? Was it 2017?
2017,
Philip
Philip
Poch.
Poch.
Philip Poch.
The athletes were incredible because
Yeah.
they took control of that
The
situation.
So can we
athletes
settle
drove it.
They
Let's-
did.
Can
On
we
social
settle
media,
something here?
Let's settle it.
And it was
Who came
packed.
up with the hashtag Full Upwatch?
I thought it was a
Who
kind.
I
drove
thought it was a Connie. I'm going to Connie.
I
You
thought
can't
it
say
was
it's
a
not now because
Owen's going to say it was him.
I thought
can
it was
see
a
it
Connie.
coming.
No, but I thought it was a Connie.
I also thought so.
Well, a Connie drove it, so even if you did come up with it, he drove it.
He is
so
my,
he owns it.
he is my boss. he is my
Let's
boss.
go to
but
commercial right now.
He wasn't at that time. No,
We're getting
the
fired.
true story is we were busy covering a school's event. And we were at Tikkies and then Reggie Peace. What's Hufke?
Hafki.
Yeah.
He came
Who's
up
an
to me. So
actor now.
I managed,
You see
like
him on
I
TV.
helped with the
so-
campaigns and we did a design and the whole idea was to get all the athletes and then we start all the social media hype. And they had It's Time or it was
A lot of
it-
them, yeah,
a lot of them. And then I said to him, no, just go with Philip Watch, get the people to watch. And then boop, there it went.
It worked.
No, it did. And the athletes drove it. I mean, I remember people driving through to watch that 100-meter final.
it was
I mean,
crazy.
it was AK, it was Wade, it was King
Tando
B,
Roto.
Tando. I mean,
Clarence Munya was still running well.
The 200.
Pretty sure.
No, it's Tandoroto. I think
In
it's
the 100.
just before Clarence. Because AK competed in the 200 as well against Wade. So AK competed in the 100 and
That's
200.
right,
And
yeah.
AK got the 100 and the
and then
gold
Wade
and
got the
silver.
200.
And Wade turned it
Yeah.
around the other
But
way.
people drove through,
was
and that's
amazing.
what I'm saying. It wasn't Poch, all right, Philip
Yeah.
Poch, obviously. But we packed it out. The athletes, or not we, the athletes packed it out because, one, they ran the campaign. Two, they performed on the track.
You know, even if you look at the celebs, Casper Nyovest, he used to do the Philip Bombela, Philip. all
I think he
these
came after Philip
arenas.
Poch.
So he was also behind the campaign, you know, and he was also on social media saying, "Hey guys," because he's from Potchefstroom,
Yeah, okay.
Casper Nyovest. So he also like, so it was a national event, you know. But that's what you were talking about. You don't just expect people to rock up. You have to bring them there. Is the athletes actually driving and taking ownership of the sport to say, use our bit of following, use our names to make sure that people come to the stadium, because it makes magic, man. It was, if you were there, it was magic.
No, and then, sorry, yes.
It does make magic, but it shouldn't be the athlete's responsibility. It is in a sense, right? Like we're talking about Noah Lyles. There's a lot of guys, especially from America, who are active on social media and very vocal. And I think, like, if you want the sport to become popular, you've got to be active as well as the athletes. But the athlete shouldn't be the one having to market an event to try and fill it up, right? That is not their responsibility.
I get that, but you go through cycles, and at that stage, it
Yeah.
was the athletes wanted it.
Yeah.
They didn't. You didn't have to twist their arms. They drove that whole thing. And then you had this slight rivalry between AK and Wade in the 100 and in the 200, which just elevated it again because now we had these incredible athletes.
To be, it was AK, Simon. Wade, Enrico Brainkies, Tando Roto.
And Brainkies had won the 100 meters the year before, hadn't he?
2016, you're right.
Oh, that's
In,
right.
And he had beaten AK
Kutzenberg,
in Kutzenberg. Yeah, that's it, in Stellenbosch. So again, now we had, and he jumped on the bandwagon going, hey, don't forget about me. And but
social media got wild actually.
sure, it did. And that was the beauty of that race. It was
Wild.
incredible. And you know what? Things have changed. The athletes drive it anyway. So they want to talk, they want to tell stories, they want to go out. So, yeah.
We just mentioned 5 guys that ran sub 10 almost in the same year, but we still don't have that 4x1 medal.
It's crazy, right?
We've got a junior world record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a World Relays medal at one point, but we lost that one.
Yeah.
We
So
won't talk too much.
let's talk about the 4x1, Matt.
Yeah.
How do
this
we
is- Get
give
a little
us-
bit
give us- yeah,
juicy.
give
Give
us
us a
some
little
juice, you know?
insight.
You've been there, done that.
A week ago, before Samuel came on, we saw, because he's rooming with Paul Goris. We saw Paul, and we tried our best to get out. And as
Wasn't budging.
that, he was so slick about it. It's like, I got some surprises. You guys are all, you spot on with some stuff, but very vague. So we still don't have an idea. So we need that insight. And now it's time.
Okay, what would you? What's your team? How does it look? Who's where? Who do
You
you
see,
have in the
even
front?
here comes all the hearts. Please tell us. Thank you. Thank you. Facebook's agreeing.
Okay, so look, there's only 3 spots we've got to fill. AK takes anchor, so we know that's going to happen. The biggest thing with relay is the amount of time you get with the athletes to practice your changeovers. Because
Correct.
that's where events are won and lost.
Yep.
That's where medals are won. So if we look at what's worked from World Relays, combinations that we use there, and what Paul and the team have had now in Montpellier.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm keeping Benji down the back straight, Bradley on the bend, and AK home.
Okay.
Who's starting?
Sean. It's
Sean.
the only logical, well, I'll say logical, but the only one that's going to,
I said Sean too. I like.
I'm going with Sean there. The only way, Benji, when he hit that 986, showed he's got top end speed that no one actually can, in the
If
other
your legs
three.
can move that fast
the
once
other
you go,
three.
and you can
Yeah.
you up there.
So once he's up, Benji can run. So put him on a straight. Let's put him there. AK, we know is home. Benji down the back straight. Then the bends. Okay, so what do? We need someone that can come out of the blocks well, because you're going to be up against Coleman, and
Yes, and that's a
who's
wild
going to start
eh?
for the Italians? Because those are the 2 teams that have really done
Sharp.
well. Okay, that are sharp, that really invest in relay. So that's our main competition right there. Then you're going to have the Jamaicans, because they've got 3 top athletes. They lack in one. Who else? Then you've got Japan, China, Brazil always is going to
Yeah,
be in the
they're
mix.
always good, yeah.
But if we're going to look at winning a medal, my way would be starting Sean.
Okay.
He runs a really good 200, which means he's got to have a good bend.
Yeah.
If he's focusing, and he only has to practice 1 changeover. If he's only been in camp for 2 or 3 or 4 days, he only has to practice once to Bradley,
Sure.
not to Bradley, to Benji. If they can nail that, that's perfect. Because if we try and move things around, now we're trying to put Bradley to Benji, Sean there. There's a lot of different combinations that we've got to try. Keep it simple, guys. So let's go Sean first, Bradley down the back straight, Benji down the back straight, sorry. And I think Bradley ran incredibly well at World Relays. He deserves his spot there. When he came in for, the finals, he performed. Okay? Then, and get that back into AK. And if they're practicing that and they're just getting it through and they're doing it, I reckon that's a team
Well, we've
that can
seen
bring
they
a
are
medal.
practicing. It's on social media. We are together and we are practicing. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ezekiel Sepeng. Just remember next time the start time of the podcast. He missed it by that much.
He was taking videos for you, X.
Ezekiel Sepeng is late for everything. Don't
Hi,
take it
Zeeks.
personally.
But I think that's a combination that brings us a
Yeah,
medal.
I like it. It's very sound. Sean, good start. Yeah, Benji, I like that. Yeah, is that changeover on the top right there to AK? It's a difficult one, but like you said, if they're practicing and if they're spending time together, it's probably the safest way to
Okay,
do
so
it.
let's look at the Americans. Okay, who goes where? So Coleman's going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Backstraight? Because now we've got to try and match our guys. We've got to try and look at see how do we get the best out of our team to match that, so
They'll
we
use-
don't end up falling
They'll
behind.
use Fred Curly there,
Yeah, I think so as well. They'll go Curly
I
there.
think they're gonna hit the Curly on the bend.
Backstreet.
No, I think they'll put Bednarek on the bend
Yeah.
and then Noah home. That's what I think.
I
I'm
think
going
so too.
Coleman, Fred, and again, you've got egos you've got to work with. So you've got to remember that. So I'm going Coleman, Fred,
It's gonna be kind of
Bednarek
wild
and Noah
if
Lyles.
Noah pisses them off.
Yeah, then it's gonna be oops,
Oops, oops. Hey, Noah.
Hey, oops.
No, they love a relay medal. Those like
Yeah,
the only look, and it's tough to say this. The only way they lose is if they mess up their relays.
But that's the reality.
No, they're 100%.
Yeah, we shouldn't. China and China is also not. But just
Then you throw in. Okay, we go Jamaica. You've got Keishan Thompson, oblique. What's the other Blake? Not Johan. Akeem, I think it is.
Akeem Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they need one extra runner. So
Yeah.
they've got a weak link where we've got to think. So if we're starting Sean against Coleman, he has to be as close as he can to Coleman. You know, that's not an easy task. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's big.
But running a bend,
He's got
Sean's
the
got.
fastest start in the world. That's it.
Yeah, but on a bend, it's different. So let's keep Sean on that bend
Yeah.
because he knows how to run it.
And he
it's
can run
it's
100.
bread and butter for him. Then Benji down that back straight just has to open up and absolutely destroy it because he's going to be up against Curly. Curly's now changed the spikes and he can run 9.8 again.
He's back.
And then And
that was
Bradley-
pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool to sneak it in there. It took me. I was like,
No, what you said.
what you said.
and then Bradley's just got to hold on. He's got to run what he did at World Relays. He's got to do it there and then
Better.
give it to AK and we know what he delivers.
Watch how AK runs them down from behind. I think USA is going to drop the baton and watch AK come
And that's
from
the
behind.
nature of the game,
Boop.
guys. This is
Yeah.
this is the one event where it's not about the four; it's about the baton. You can have the
Yeah.
4 best runners in the world
Oh, we've seen
if
it.
you're not
That
getting
thing
the baton
don't
around.
go around. It's
Yeah.
No, we've seen it time and time again.
hey, I'm not a Lower Lyles fan. I should stop it.
Okay, so
he's a
that's
very good
what-
talent, but yeah.
What were you guys saying the relay team would be?
No, I think we had the
order a little bit
yeah,
different.
we started. Remember, we started this 2-3 weeks ago. We didn't know
We had
whether
Wade.
he's gonna be running or not, and whether he's gonna run 4x4 or 4x1. So that's an element that was still open.
Okay,
you know?
but, so let's throw
So we
that
don't
in.
know.
So if Wade was available, would you select him?
Oh,
Yes.
based on
Yes.
who
But
Wade
why?
is.
Okay, why? That we can't just say we
Just because it's something that you didn't say.
no, but back it up. What's the
Okay,
theory?
let's back it up, right? So we've got Wade's 200, one of the
Based on his
strongest
form in
200.
the 200, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, has he run 100?
No. So we don't
That-
know, but Wade is experienced enough that he will be ready.
Cool.
He
to
came
run
back from
100, right?
injury and ran a 10:09, first race back in the 100, and that's a couple of years ago.
I think if he's in 200 form, the way he starts, I think he's in 100 form.
Okay, so then where do you put him?
Starts him.
Start him, yeah.
No, you wanna
Start him or
with-
bend.
On a bend, and he's incredible at the start. I would start him.
Look, I must have said at Madrid in that 200, I expected AK to be off the bend in front of him, and Wade held him. So did that? Look, I was just playing devil advocate. And again, it comes down to 4.
Yeah.
You know, but I wouldn't put him down the back straight. I would put him on one of the bends. I agree with you. I don't know if I'd start him, but then it's a whole combination change over
Yeah.
time. How much time do you get to spend?
Yeah.
And again, it's easy to put 4 guys in a race, but
Yeah.
if the changeovers aren't smooth, that's where you lose time.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's, if the guys at practice and Wade suddenly says tomorrow he's available, do we change?
It's tricky.
Roll the dice. There we go.
Ching chong chow for
Bayanda
positions.
Walaza has been part of that group. He's run with them. And I wonder if, like you keep
I
saying,
would,
it's
I would,
safer
I
just
would,
to
ha-
keep the
yeah,
guys.
but I would have
practice
him
with the
instead
squad.
of
Bread.
You would include him ahead of Bradley and Koana, really?
Yeah, I did previously.
Oh, you did. I remember now. Yeah.
What did Brad run in Switzerland? 10-1.
10:03.
Yeah,
10:03.
Yeah, but
Okay.
altitude,
We
leg
live in
speed there, I
altitude.
know what
Guys,
you're going to.
we live in altitude.
We live in altitude, yes, okay, but if you have a look at
No.
his performance, he's been beaten by Walaza every single time, every single meet they've gone head to head.
True.
So that
My
right-
one thing with Laza is how much he's raced this year.
Yeah, but he's been consistent.
No,
Went
no,
to-
100%.
Went to African champs, 10-1.
same with Nkoana's also raced a lot.
African champs, guys.
I think the difference is that Walaza races a lot for his school, and Koana doesn't because he's not in school anymore.
Yeah.
No, that African champs is not, that's why we didn't go this
Yeah,
year. I was like,
yeah,
oh, no.
yeah.
If I go there, I'm getting on a boat and I'm fishing. I'm definitely. They
do
got
the
some,
missions, but
they
it's
got
a-
some
it's
Nile
a
perch,
great-
some good fish to go after, and then give me the updates of that.
It's a great place to be to have all these options. Really, guys. I mean, there's no weak link in this team.
Yeah,
and as long as we can change without
As long as they're
having,
practicing and they
without the team sort of going, because I remember, go back to, when did I win our medal? 2001. Cornet Duplessis he felt his hamstring in the 200. So he was iffy about whether we were going to do this. So Sean Bounds was in there as like a bear. And now we had 1 day to practice before our races. So now suddenly we changed everything. Instead of me being home straight, I think Sean was running first. I went back straight.
Were you coaching it?
Huh?
Who was the coach?
Well, the team made the decisions.
Okay, that's like a.
The coach just kind of listened. And again, that's how, yes, I get there's a coach there, but at that level, the team, we weren't full of egos. So it makes things
Okay,
easier.
so you going back straight?
So Sean would start. I went in. Now we've all got to practice this because these are complete changes because we couldn't put Sean down the back straight.
And you don't want him to run into you. He's quite big.
Exactly. So I went back straight. Leroy was third, and Mornay then finished. So it was a complete change of order.
yeah.
Was this for the heats?
No, for the heats.
Okay.
But Cornet wasn't sure whether he was going to run or not. So that was, then suddenly Cornet that night said, no, he's good, and we reversed it back.
Back to normal.
And that was just smooth because we knew the changes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mornay, or in Canada, Morn to Corn to Leroy to me, and it just worked. Leroy and I were training together. Cornet and Mornay were up in Joburg, so they could work together.
Yeah.
It just made things easy.
I like it.
It's combinations, and that's what we took away from it.
It's when the team, I think that, you can underestimate team cohesion, that just understanding and knowing. All right, yes, Matt, Leroy knowing exactly what you do, Morne coming out. It just makes it so easy when you guys have that belief in each other as well as in the team. What type of mentality I want to get into. I mean, relay is different from an individual event. The 100-meter, when you're running in that lane, there's egos, it's me against the world. How do you guys make it work? This is advice to the team that is out there
No,
now.
but that's what worked for us. Yes, we had a coach, we had a manager or the team manager, but we sat as adults and we were like, guys, we feel this is going to work well. They wanted to make changes, we refused. We said this team is going to run the heats and they're going to run the final. We're going to make that final, and that's. And as a team, we decide. And I still feel, and again, it might be my personal opinion, but the team sitting right now in Montpellier, they know what works.
They know, yeah, you're right.
They're working with Paul to deliver a medal. They're not there just because they're on a holiday. They won a medal. So they know what's working. They can feel it in their changeovers. They can feel it in their training sessions. And if this order didn't work or whatever order, they should be able to talk to Paul and go, guys, this is what we feel. I strongly believe that. But yeah, I mean, it's the relay is just a different event. You've got 8 guys running at you, one screaming at you because they're going to pass you the baton. You've got to watch a mark because if you miss that mark, he's either on top of you or he doesn't give you the baton. Then you've got to put your hand back and keep it as still as possible. And it's nothing, without practicing that, it can easily fall apart.
Big time.
And I mean, in that World Champs, I think Jamaica dropped the baton in the heats. So they were one of the favorites of the event. They didn't even make the final because they didn't get the baton around.
And that's sport. That's sport right
It is,
there.
100%.
You don't have to answer this one, but it's just out of curiosity.
When you breathe in.
Yeah, but I'm gonna ask it Tim because you said don't go there.
Don't. I'm getting set
Yeah.
up here.
Hey,
I'm getting set up here.
Adams, would you have picked him or not?
No, he's not in form.
Thank you.
100%. I just don't like the way it was perceived to be done.
Mm.
If it was done correctly,
Yeah.
and again, it's just what we read in the media.
Yeah, that's
If-
all we can go on as a spectator.
Because what the story came back in is that felt like we spoke to Wade. He now wants to run the 200, so we've got to get rid of an athlete. Who are we getting rid of? Lux, you're not informed. You're getting that. That's what it felt like was perceived.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, and I think if the storyline was, and again, South Africa would back this. Everyone would back it. I feel sorry for Lux because
Yeah.
Olympics is every 4 years. He's trained hard. He had qualified, but in that time he hadn't run. He had gone out. He had run a 21.7. He had run
215.
21.5 or 48.
Where did he place in
No,
South Africa rankings, Wes?
No, but we don't worry about that. I mean, guys,
66th.
the guy's quality. You've got to
Yeah,
understand that.
No,
Yes,
he's a
so
good
we
guy,
can
but you look at current
as-
form.
In 5 weeks, 6 weeks, what could he have done? Training hard, injury free. We don't know.
Maybe
We don't
20.5. I don't know.
But I think if it had been communicated, you're not in shape, let's do this, accept it. Then bring Wade in. But it felt like the storylines were mixed.
We're mixed.
And I think that's where the confusion and people came out and said, but he's qualified. Yeah, but again, the point I want to throw back into this, and it's in every interview I've done on this, is it's a great situation to be in.
To have 6 or 5.
Where our qualifying standards now have to be changed because we've had 5 guys qualify in the 200. We've got 3 or 4 guys in the 400 that could possibly, in the future. In the 100, we've got an amazing amount of athletes. So ASA now have to go back and just adjust the selection criteria because we've got so much depth. It's incredible. And ASA has the right to choose the best 3 athletes to go to the Olympic Games, the best 3 in form and can represent South Africa.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a great situation, guys, and it's the sort of silver lining on a really terrible thing.
Yeah,
But,
Wes said exactly the same in the podcast. To me, I'm fairly clear, and that's why I still say the guy in form goes. If you have a bunch of people qualifying, that's how I feel about that. And
He still had the fastest qualifying though, but he hadn't shown. And this is again small things that and guys, what if you go read the rules, the selection criteria? He didn't have to show form. The criteria is all you have to do is qualify, and then you have to give a plan to ASA of how you will be ready for the Olympic Games. Doesn't say he has to run 20.1 before the Olympic Games. He's just going to show how he's going to be ready. So I'm going to run this race. I'm going to run this race. I'm going to train here. This is my training block. This is where I'm going to
they
be based.
invited him to a couple of events as well to run.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying
And
that,
to
like,
the OPEX.
if we're sitting back and we're looking at the rules,
Criteria.
the criteria, he qualifies.
Now, I'm not going to argue with that because I don't have that insight. So it's it's a
it's
different take now where we
it's-
sit in now. So
It's
you
just
can-
called
we
reading.
can-
No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking.
But I think
No, but I
You
went
want to
look
turn
at
this
it.
into the roast of Matt? Huh? You want to go there?
Sorry. No, but I was fascinated
could.
by it. So I went and I got the selection criteria because I felt sorry for the guy. The guy had, this week he's in the Mr. Price campaign on social media, standing there in his kit going, this is the kit I'm going to be wearing in 5 months' time. But it's this week, it's tough. I feel for Lux, but I think once all the story settles down, the right guys are in the right events.
Yeah, that team shouldn't have been announced with him in it. I agree with
What
that.
you said, Wes.
yeah, it was too quick.
Yeah.
I
How
think if
many
they
weeks
just been
before?
patient, like 6 weeks before, which was crazy.
Yeah, but I think if we just tweak, team gets announced after World Athletics
After closing
closes the date.
That's
Then ASA can select the team they need.
Absolutely,
Boom,
there would have been no
shakalaka.
controversy if they had done that.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, but they announced it early.
Yeah, that's all it was. But I'm sure.
But
they've
again,
learned.
it was because of the qualifying standards. So at that date, when they wanted to announce the first team, or Sascock wanted to announce, he had qualified. They didn't know 4 other guys were going to qualify.
But I remember thinking when they announced the team, that initial group of athletes, I remember thinking we have 300-400 meter runners here. What if somebody else runs faster?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? And that is exactly what happened in the 200.
But they use, it's tricky because it's actually not on time. It's based on the point system, which is actually a very new qualification. This has never been an issue in the past because this qualification system never really existed. It's either you run the time or you don't.
No, but that's the thing. You go look at some of the athletes that are missing out from South Africa going to the Olympics because they're not running the right races.
Yeah.
There's athletes going with slower times,
Yeah.
but they've got better points because they're running continental gold or silver, but we're running league meetings. So who was it? The 800-meter girl, Shanae Swart, I think.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, Sharni Swart.
So she has faster time than some of the people in
Yeah,
going to the Olympic time.
so
Okay.
close,
But the way she chooses to run her races is the problem. And I don't know, our coaches have to start looking at this. It's great that we have league
It's an
meetings.
expensive strategy, though.
If African champs had delivered, would have got a lot of points out of that. But the athletes never. I think she ran.
I can't remember.
what
It
did she
also
run? Two or
had a
three?
similar explanation.
2 or 3.
If she had run at a league meeting in Pretoria, two flat, I think it was. If she had run that same time in Africa, she would have gone to the Olympic because she would have got that many more points. Well, that was lovely English, but she would have got enough points to go. And I think our coaches and our athletes and our managers need to now look at about where do they run.
Yeah.
Because
You've got to be strategic.
if you're not going to make that time, because remember, you got the qualifying time and you got qualifying rankings. If you feel like you're not going to make a 10 second in the 100, but you're a 10:05, 10:06, 10:10 athlete, run at the right races, get those same points, but they elevate you and they put you into that.
Correct. Or just qualify.
In the
But that is
marathon,
qualified.
in the marathon, Elroy Gellant and Sean Oldknow both decided before the season even started that they were running the national marathon champs, because if they didn't get that qualifying time, they knew that they would get more points by winning the national title than by winning some other random race,
Sheesh. That's a
which is
smart-
smart.
That
Like
is.
you need to understand the criteria and what's expected of you and where you're going to get those points from. And it always shocks me. Sometimes I've heard athletes over the years where the qualifying window is about to close and the athlete doesn't know what the criteria is. They're still not sure if they're in the team, if they've achieved what they're supposed to. And really, if you're an elite athlete and you're trying to get to the Olympic Games, before the season even starts, you should know exactly what times you need to run, what points you need to get at what events. And it's a little bit your own fault, I think, if you fall short.
It goes back to the season. It goes back
What
to
does the season look like?
it goes
as well?
back to Africa creating events for our athletes that give us as many
remember.
Gold
points.
level.
I can't remember,
Silver.
but in this week,
Yeah.
somebody, I'm trying to recall the name. I don't know, it told me. It would have been a different story if African champs delivered. The teams might have
No, 100%.
looked different. There would have been an opportunity for people to be invited that actually deserves to be there, but because of African champs being at the very lowest quality that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality is that African champs gives you the same amount of points as European champs.
Yeah. Wow.
And we don't give our athletes that opportunity. So when our guys get selected to go, we need to give them an event that allows them to perform.
Perform, yeah.
Come on,
You know.
Africa, come on.
Botswana, not having Botswana Grand Prix this year was a massive thing.
Big difference.
Because that lost us out so many
Is
points.
that a bronze or silver?
It was a gold.
Gold.
It's a gold.
Yeah.
So that guy, I mean, if there was 800, whatever events, that gives those athletes an opportunity. And it's an easy for South Africans to go run there. It's cost effective for Botswana. It's a win-win.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a win-win indeed. But yeah.
Yeah, African champs were like the boats at the Olympics. Took a lot away.
Yeah, that opening ceremony.
Oh my goodness.
goodness.
That was the best 5-minute watch ever.
Yeah, we just watched like Kanye and then the rest of it is
Like, okay, boom.
What's going on
Hey,
here?
hey,
Oh
like
my
I didn't even have an opportunity to grab my phone and take proper pictures of that moment of AK carrying the flag. Good
Yeah, but the
lord.
boat was driving at like 15 knots. It's like,
Hey, clap for
hey,
me.
hey, is that Brazil? No, it's Ecuador. Yeah,
Africa do Sud.
so that made it a bit tricky. But yeah, nonetheless, everybody's speaking Olympic Games.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
Girl, this
few more-
weekend it's time.
it's time.
I want to know what Matt thinks about Akani's chances in the 100. What do you
Let's
reckon?
ask
We-
him.
and
We can let's ask him as well. Then with that, and then with that, I think then we can close off depending who you think are realistic medal opportunities if you predict.
That's it.
Yeah, let's go beyond Akani. Who do you think will get a medal?
Okay, both relays.
Mm-hmm.
I think let's start there. I think there's proper medal opportunities there.
Yep.
Agree.
And then from an individual point of view, I think AK. I think we're going to get a lot of younger kids into finals. I think Prudence has shown she's got the quality to compete.
Yeah.
Now it's 3 rounds, finals.
Might be
Those-
4 rounds.
Those are the things that you've got. It's new.
Yeah.
So can she do that every? Those are the questions we'll find out.
Yeah.
Benji, Prudence, they've got to, now if they make finals, that's their first goal. Then anything happens.
Yeah.
But if I have to sit here right now, I'm going both relays and AK.
Okay.
I think a lot of finals,
Yeah.
and that's what we need. We need our guys going through from a semi to a final. But having said that, guys, the semi-finals are the most. That's
the final.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
A lot of hearts coming through again.
think about that 100 meters. Okay, you've got 8 lanes in the final. So 3 semi-finals, 24 athletes, 8, 16, 24. If you get a tough heat,
Yep.
and it's possible,
It's
guys,
gonna happen.
you know what
It's a
happens.
fact.
So I mean, you just take. You got 2 Jamaicans, you got 3 Americans, you got the 3 Africans, Akani, Ferdy, and Taboko.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm already on 8, and I haven't given it much thought.
You
Then-
even added the Americans in there.
No, I did think I did Americans.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I
Oh,
said
did
the
you?
2 Jamaicans,
Oh, yeah,
the 3
yeah.
Americans.
Zonal use.
Yeah, there's
No.
guys that are going to pop up. And remember, this is the Olympics. We'll find 1 or 2 guys. Now, that's already 8. Now, suddenly, if you go from heats to semis, and we don't quite get the right heat, you've got to run flat out just to make... Look at the last one, the Chinese guy that ran 980 or 9... Su, in the semi-finals in Tokyo.
Yeah.
He came out, boom, 9.8. Like, where'd that come from? And that's the reality of what can
Yeah.
happen. So those semi-finals, guys, are brutal. That's not child's play. And the one thing that I'm finding with Akani this year, and it's just my personal opinion, is there's a calmness about him. Him and Vanna have built this season differently. He knows he's in shape. Like before this, if you go back to Tokyo, he ran that fast time in Budapest.
Yeah.
But
The 8-4.
it didn't feel like it was coming, if you understand.
Yeah.
It was there and then,
Boom.
okay. This year, it's been this continual build. Even when he had that slight mishap against Thompson, again in Budapest. There was something about that race that just showed there was a calmness about him afterwards. Like, he didn't quite execute, he didn't quite do something.
They went back to the 200s. So he said he feels rusty after the race because was his first 100-meter race in like almost a month and a couple of days.
And they did it too, so they loaded
But-
him a bit.
And then, like, we don't know that, but I'm just looking at from a TV point of view and watching him on live. Then he goes to London, two of his best tracks. So he went to Hungary and then he went to London. 2 of his best tracks
Best tracks.
in build up to this games.
In a week time.
There, again, this, and then suddenly, boom, 9-8.
Hey.
And I'm like, guys, there's something. There's
9-8,
something
and
there.
he
It's
was
brewing.
closing. He was closing down on Lyles at the end.
And if you go look at his race thing, he doesn't have that weakness in his start anymore. It's cleared up. There's some, and I think it's this training he's been doing in Switzerland on the Opti gates.
Correct.
I love that system. I think South Africa, we need one of those just to help athletes train. It's something that the rest of the world have been using for years.
Technology.
But that system costs 1.7 million if you do it properly.
How much can you charge?
But now we started to see that start of his.
What's the frequency of use a day?
That start of his is just, it's smooth,
Yeah.
and every race it's just happening, and then he's got his top end at the end. Oh, guys, I'm excited.
Do you think he's going to have to break his national record to get a medal? I think he might have to.
Yeah, I think 984 is. This is a tough race. Tough bunch. You got. I mean, if you think about who's faster than him right now on time, and again, it's only on time. It's nothing to do with
Yeah.
on the day. You got Keishan Thompson 977, Ferdinand 9, 7, and 9, but he did that at altitude.
Oh, I thought, what's altitude?
No, but I'm saying that.
We're at altitude.
No, we are.
He's got the
but
leg
he's got it
speed.
in
Might
his
be
leg.
you maybe can use them in the
He was
relay.
waiting for me.
Yeah,
He was
well,
waiting for that.
He's
Back
been
straight.
nice.
You can back
That you got me back for the
Put
reading
him on the back
comment.
straight.
What you call it? Who else have we got? Fred Curley, Noah Lyles. It's a guys. It's
gonna be close.
Top 3, you definitely have to go sub 9.8.
Yeah.
I believe Akan is in SA.
Yeah, I
past
think
SA
he
record
can.
ships. I'm
I
not
think
gonna
that
write about
African
it.
record's gonna go.
Yeah.
So
I've just got a feeling. Well, I guess
No pressure.
I'm not allowed to watch it though.
I can't watch it. it's
No,
nerve-wracking,
You're not gonna watch it.
Of course I will.
it's,
But it's like I'm jumping. I'm all over the place.
no, it's a funny thing. Every single race of AK that I've watched him race live, he doesn't win. So
Okay,
I'm
you
sitting,
bad.
I'm
you're
listening
definitely
to
not
my
watching
wife
it.
screaming in the what do you call it, in the lounge in front of the TV just to get the result. So,
Or pause your TV.
Mm.
Wait 10 minutes and then watch
No,
it
it's
because
not
the race
same.
is done. The
I
race
have
is
done
done.
that. I've done that in the previous Olympics. I have done it. Pause. Just like, am I going to watch it? I wasn't sure if I'm going to do it or not. And then I watched it and then he got a fourth. Yes. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just a little
No,
thing.
so
I'm not watching
I'm going
anymore.
three medals and a
Yeah.
lot of finals. And I think if we can get that, and those guys then continue, then LA 28 becomes even more exciting.
yeah, I also said 3. So I like the way you're thinking, Matt. Gentlemen,
Parting words? No, let's start that side this today.
we're coming to an end of what has been a great chat here with Matt. Parting words, Mr. Wes.
I have no parting words. Thank you for joining us, Matt. It's been good, man. I enjoyed listening to your insights, especially on the relay.
Mm.
I think you know a little bit more about relay running than we do, so it was good having you here.
Guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate the time. Good to chat athletics, always good, and it's exciting time at the moment. Olympics starting, can't wait.
Yeah.
The Olympics have already started. I just want to inform
as you
all
know, you say this every
Guys,
week.
we,
Come
We
on.
already have 3 medals. Where have you guys been?
we're enjoying watching it,
We love winning the
but
medals.
Olympics start on Friday.
Whatever.
Schmitty, parting words?
Matt, congrats on your event. I know you put in a lot of hard work in that. I'm glad it's on a national scale. Looking forward to see what that's going to do next year. On a parting word, and I don't believe I'll be in the next podcast. I'll be on my way to some production. Is Go Team South Africa, Go AK. Let's go get that medals. And yeah, I'll be back next week. So, Tim's parting words.
Sounded like he was gonna say yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I think we had a good time here talking athletics, the sport we love so much. In the famous words of somebody out there, yay! And that's it. Take care. God bless.
Deep and profound.
Owned it. I look like keeping you up for a little longer. So.